Hello again, Facebook. I'm Josh Robbins with Healthline here at Healthy Voices 2017 in Chicago, an amazing conference with health advocates and activists of all conditions that are learning how to use social media to, further along our own activism and health advocacy. We're here with a superstar. Every year.
You're kind.
No, seriously, every
you.
year that I've been here, I've gotten to see you, and you always got this big smile on your face, and you teach me so much, and then you also calm me down.
Really?
You have this calming effect.
Thank you, Josh.
And so this is Todd, Bello.
Yep.
So welcome to Healthline's Facebook Live event. So
I'm so grateful to be here with so many great advocates like Josh. I mean, this guy's amazing. I mean, and compliments coming from him are, it means a lot to me. And our community, we were just talking about psoriasis, and Josh was asking me about, psoriasis. The word is a Greek word, it means itch, and then we have the psoriatic component of it, like psoriatic arthritis. So we call ourselves psoriatics. So
psoriatics.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's spelled differently. It's kind of confusing. The P is silent.
I can't spell anyway. So.
Yeah. So everything that we do hashtag with the PSO.
Okay.
So it's like hashtag PSO. So everyone's like, what is? I mean, it's like something that people will bring up a question about. So this way we could raise awareness about it.
Yeah. Well, so let's just start from the beginning a little bit.
Okay.
And so tell me a little bit about psoriasis. What exactly is it?
Oh my God, psoriasis has affected my life since I was 28. So people who are diagnosed with it.
And you're 29 now.
Yes, 29. It's been a year. I'm struggling with it for, we have a lot of challenges, but I've been struggling with it for 26 years now. So, before I was very depressed about it. I still, moved through that phase of depression. I see a mental health care counselor too, a licensed mental health care counselor. He always tells me, use the L.
Right.
Yeah, he wants all the alphabet in there. So, getting back to the question about psoriasis, it's just a great community, and we just look to raise awareness. We have 10 advocates here today, and they all, I support them, they support me. So it's we want to get the word out that it's not contagious, that it's not just a skin disease, it affects the entire immune system, your joints, your organs, we have a great organization that supports us. It's called the National Psoriasis Foundation. It's located in Oregon. It's 50 years old.
I love how you say Oregon.
Yeah.
Oregon.
Yeah. I know, I can't, whatever.
Where are you from?
I'm from New York. I was born in Virginia, actually, and I said I was born and raised before, but I was actually born in Virginia. 3 weeks we moved to New York, so I officially say I'm born and raised in New York. So,
what got you started in advocacy? So I know that obviously if you have this going on in your life, what made you decide to kind of open up and share your story? Why would you do that? Why would you?
I know, right? We don't sign up for this, right? We get these diseases. We don't sign up for it, and it's like, we want to find out all this information, so we start researching. We want to communicate with others, people that are also advocating, and people that are reaching out, and so we want to learn what our disease is all about. Maybe have a better grasp of medications that are available to us, and so that's what I really did. When I first was diagnosed, I went to the library because the internet was so primitive back then. I'm aging myself.
So I went to an encyclopedia.
Yeah, so it's like there was no WikiLeaks back then,
right.
Yeah, so. Yeah,
so you went through this information gathering, right?
Yeah.
You try to find everything that you can do. And I did the same thing when I was diagnosed with HIV.
Right.
You go through this phase where you just try to go to Healthline and you try to figure out everything you can about the disease that you have or the condition that you have. Yeah. But what made you go to the next step of now sharing your story?
Helping others. I was a fireman and an EMT, so I was always I have that compassion level in my, that brings me that I want to help people with. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's the same reason why you do it, because I'm sure it's the reason why most people here. This is our why, and once you find out your why, then you go with it. So
what is you in life before? I don't even know that it was before you're here. Like you were telling a story about owning a business.
Yeah. So my father owned a business, all my uncles owned a business. They were all veterans of the war and everything. So, I always emulated them. And I wanted to be a businessman. So I knew that was the way to make money in corporate America. So I opened a small appliance repair store, and it was in a small, very affluent area of St. James on Long Island. And that business is still there. It's been over 30 years since I sold it. And the reason why I sold it is because my psoriasis got so bad. People were perceiving me and the perception of me being contagious. So we get back to that point that psoriasis is not contagious. So, but it was affecting my business. So I put an ad in. I had it sold for $78,000, and I ended up selling it for half that because I was really sick, and I was covered, and I couldn't. I lost all my self-esteem and self-confidence, and it was affecting the business. And quite frankly, getting up in the morning and going and picking up parts, and it was just being so labor intense. So, I just couldn't do it anymore. So I sold it. But I'm happy that it's still there, and it provided a good financial well-being for his family, and put his kids through college and everything like that.
Man, that's the kind of heart you have. That you already find that like one piece that is the great. So have you gone back and visited?
Yeah, I actually talked to him. His name is John. And he says, Todd, I'm thinking about retiring. Would you consider, buying the business back? And I was thinking about it. I don't know. We'll see. I'm in a better place now, so.
Okay.
You never know.
Yeah. Well, and then talk to me if you need a business partner.
Okay,
see what we can do. What brought you to Healthy Voices?
Healthy Voices. It's funny because I was invited to a Janssen corporate picnic because I was one of the, advocates, or one of the first people to take their medications. So from there, I guess they invited me. I was able to speak to a crowd of like 500 people about their medication and how it cleared me and gave me my quality of life back. It was just such an amazing experience, and I got a standing ovation after I spoke. And they showed the pictures of my before and after, and they showed the pictures of how I was involved in my community. And then all of a sudden, this disease brings me to my knees. And then I'm not able to be a volunteer fireman, which I took very pridefully because I was a lieutenant. I was elected official in the fire department. And I was in 1995, I was elected Fireman of the Year. So, I mean, it was, and then it's just like, the wheels fell off,
What was that like? I mean, those moments, and where did you find strength, and if somebody's newly diagnosed, like what can you say to help get them through that moment?
Well, if you're newly diagnosed with psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis, you have a great, it's a better advantage today. You could be gainfully employed and still have psoriasis now, because of the medications that you have. I mean, they weren't available to me back in the day. So nowadays with pharma, and I appreciate pharma, I can't even say it. Words can't express how appreciative I am of pharma, because they're spending so much money in our disease state where, as before, there was no real medications for us. We had cancer drugs and cyclosporine. Matter of fact, cancer patients with psoriasis were clearing from their medications, so that's how they knew it was an autoimmune disease. So and then they tweaked the medication it's a low dose cancer drug that they give to psoriasis patients and psoriatic arthritis patients. So
isn't it funny how those discoveries happen? You know, and I think that it goes across health conditions that they were looking at. My mom is living with multiple sclerosis, and so my eyes and ears kind of perk when somebody starts talking about MS, and they are starting to use like HIV drugs to start treating people that may have MS. And I just love how that kind of education and cross condition kind of support that happens.
So these medications, and I met your mother yesterday. We were sitting eating breakfast, and I didn't know it was your mom.
I'm a mama's boy, so that's why I'm bringing up my mom.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I love my mom. She says always, you think about your mom, and she says walk a mile in my shoes, and it came into play, right? And you don't know. I mean, we all want to. I always think of others when I'm empathetic about other people. when I think my mom's saying that, you know, walk a mile in my shoes, and I try and think about how they're, you know, challenge or their challenge, you know. So it brings me, you know, to a different level of compassion.
Yeah, well,
So,
and that compassion that mom has, and that support, it brings me to like talk to me about like the support groups and kind of your advocacy online and what you do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Overcoming Psoriasis, I found it back in the day, and it's just grown immeasurably. The group is so engaging. People feel comfortable in the group. They share their photos. You know, it's like, can you imagine, you know, being even, you know, I know as a guy, you know, we're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be, you know, that I don't know,
macho.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So like, you know, but imagine a girl having this and having all these red lesions all over her body, where she's supposed to be, you know, as society depicts her. And then how much harder, I would think, you know, that's like I'm saying, you know, I'm thinking about from their aspect, you know what I'm saying? So my platform or my group is so supportive that, you know, these people, they actually physically and share their pictures. But we're a closed group, so they feel really comfortable. They share their stories. I encourage them to share their stories because it's therapeutic, right? And it's getting me to the level where I am here sitting with you. So that's what it's all about.
Talking about it, and talking about, and what are some of the things that, so we would think that it's not, obviously, you were explaining that it happens on, you know, the skin, and you can kind of see it, but the stuff also happens on the inside, but there's some, I guess, you know, mental things that happen too, that you have to go through, just, you know, depression, or, you know, realizing that this is.
So that's why we say, you know, like, if somebody's struggling with psoriasis at a whole new level with depression, you really need to go see a licensed mental health care counselor. And you know, there's many doctors that you're going to have to see with this disease, just like I'm sure HIV, their community, I'm sure they have the same problems that we do. So it's overlapping. And
that stigma, I guess, if people see that and wonder, you know, you had a shirt. You had a shirt on. Tell me, remind me what your shirt said.
Yeah, so my shirt said, like I was saying before, it's so not contagious. And I was just advertising my support group, Overcoming Psoriasis. And, you know, so we like to raise awareness.
Yeah, so what would be some tips if somebody is living with psoriasis, or, again, just diagnosed?
The best advice I could tell them is, you know, you want to join the National Psoriasis Foundation because you want to be part of that organization. It's the largest organization, you know, that helps 8.3 million Americans that suffer with psoriasis. 125 million Americans, people suffer globally with psoriasis and psoriatic.
125 million?
Yeah, it's the most prevalent autoimmune disease, and that's 1 in 50 people that you know suffer with psoriasis on some level. You know, the range is mild, moderate, severe, and very severe. So I had it very severe. So and you could die from psoriasis. I mean, there's complications where you can die from psoriasis. And there's a Canadian study where average psoriasis patients will their lifespan is shortened by 10 years. So not too many people know that. So these
look, you're just educating me.
And these
comorbidities. That's why I like hanging out with you, because I always learn something new, and then I realize, you know, like I again just have the mirror, you know, focused on me and kind of what I'm doing. But there's so much more.
Yeah, but you're bringing out, you know, these important points that people don't know about. So like the comorbidities that are addressing our community, like nobody knows about: heart disease, depression, psoriatic arthritis. It's just it's tenfold that, you know, I know cancer even, you know, so.
What inspires you in the community, in the psoriasis community, or
people like you, people like that, you know, I recently met a celebrity. I've met a few celebrities that came out because they had psoriasis. You know, but, you know, my friend said something, who's a mental health care counselor. He said, you know, it's not about the celebrities, it's about, you know, it's about advocates who are raising awareness, you know. We don't have to have celebrities touting about our disease state, even though it helps, because they have a large, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have this, obviously we want that, you know, but what I'm saying is that we are so powerful. Our voices are powerful as patients.
What are some questions that somebody would have immediately if they are just diagnosed? So say that I go to the doctor and I get this diagnosis.
Well,
what are some immediate things that I either have questions that I need to ask, or even need to, the questions I need to ask the doctor, or what do I need to know? Like the brief kind of know this.
Right. Well, you get hit with that. When I was first diagnosed, I had no idea what psoriasis was. I didn't know it was a chronic condition or chronic illness. I didn't know there was no cure, So, some of the questions that you're going to want to ask is, to your doctor, my severity, where do I fit in?
Okay, so you want to know, and you said it was like severe?
Yeah, mild, moderate, and severe, and very severe.
Okay.
So, and that's going to determine your treatment level. You can, actually psoriasis does very well with light box. Some doctors will prescribe light box. They'll prescribe systemic medications. They'll prescribe biologics. They'll prescribe, if it's a mild case, topical cortisones. I even tout olive oil. You want to pay attention.
This is actually, I'm going to interrupt you one
Okay.
second. Katrina asked, Katrina asked us, what has been the most effective treatment for you?
Okay.
So think about medical stuff or natural remedies. So I want you to get right back in. You're using some of the...
Yeah, so I've been on biologics for just about 20 years now. I was in 4 clinical trials, and those medications that I use is the reason why I'm clear and I'm able to move my neck. And, so I don't want to name the specific medication that I'm on.
Okay.
But, go see your doctor, and there are so many new medications coming out for this disease state that I'm excited about it. Because what happens is these medications, they have a shelf life, and they tend to fail after a while.
Okay.
So, and then what happens is we need choices. So the FDA is being very, they're on
aggressive.
Fast forward.
Okay.
So what they're doing is they're getting these medications. These doctors are able to prescribe more medications to us.
So is there something that hasn't worked that has been obvious, like running your hand underwater and then lathering up with something?
Yeah, well, that's and no one treatment is gonna, there's not. How would you say that? There's not one treatment that's gonna work for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a catchphrase for it, but so you have to try things like some of my advocate friends that are here are on different medications that I failed on.
Okay.
So you can't get overly, like, oh, it's working for him, but it's not working for me. Now you're going to get, I'm depressed, But, that's the beauty of, I know Katrina wants more specifics.
Yeah,
so
I'm trying to get it from you. I'm trying to be this interviewer that's like, come on now, give me something special. You said olive oil. What were you going to say about olive oil? Okay,
olive oil works is more importantly, coconut oil. Coconut oil has got 3 properties: anti-fungal, anti-bacterial, anti-viral. So it's these properties.
All in that oil.
Yeah,
okay.
And it's all natural. I mean, everyone. I mean, you could lather that stuff on, and some people have absolutely cleared from it. So one thing about coconut oil is it's a sunblock. So the sun works for you. You shouldn't wear it. You should wear it at night. And you could take a Epsom salt bath, right? Dry off, and then put the coconut oil on. That's what I used to do in between medications.
Yeah.
It didn't give me total control, but in between medications, it gave me some control, so I'm able to participate and function in life. So.
Yeah. And so it blocks the sun, though, so you would have a very
so like these suntan lotions, the SPF 15s, they have coconut oil in them. So. I found that out the hard way because I went down to Florida to get the sun, and I was putting this coconut oil on, and my psoriasis wasn't clearing up. I was like, I always clear from sunlight. What's going on here?
Right.
So that's how I found out.
Oh man, this has been. I've learned so much just in this.
I'm glad you're picking my brain because this is great to get this out.
Yeah. What else? Is there something else? What is the most misunderstood thing?
Yeah, so I guess the misconceptions about psoriasis is that, we mentioned it before, is that it's contagious, that it's just a skin condition. So, you know, the misconception about it being just a skin condition is totally wrong. It's a serious autoimmune disease. And if people were to understand that it is a serious autoimmune disease, and that's my passion, is to raise awareness about that, and that's what the MPF is so good at. And you know,
you brought up several times the support group and kind of getting involved. Why is it important if somebody receives this diagnosis that they find a support group, and why is that?
Perfect.
Yeah,
and
why is that important?
Because you don't want to feel alone, right? Because when we get diagnosed with any disease in any community, you feel alone now. You know, it's like, right?
Yeah.
Don't you feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
You just want to know that you're not going to die,
Right.
and that you're not alone,
Right.
and that you're going to be okay,
Right.
and that you can still have a good life.
That's right. Quality of
Well,
life.
yeah, for me in the HIV space, yeah.
Yeah. So there's another fact about psoriasis that people don't really know.
Here we go, another fact. Love it.
Yeah. So like I was reading the other day, like you know, psoriasis patients are we're stigmatized, but we're also you know, the level of income. They found out that we are below the scale as far as average income. So, you know, it affects you financially, emotionally, and physically. So, you know.
Yes.
So
okay. Now you got to give me another something like to end this on like a smile.
Oh, a good note.
A good note.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like you said, we're not feeling alone.
Yeah.
We're coming to these organizations and events and conferences, and we're all, you know, what you want to do is when you have psoriasis and you just want to, you know, have a better quality of life, right?
Yeah.
And you know, live your life to the fullest. And you know what Guy said? And I'm going to end it on this.
Okay.
Is he said yesterday, "I'm thriving with HIV." Right? And that's what I am. I'm going to be thriving on psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis, and you can too. Go to overcomingpsoriasis.com.
There we go. Okay, you have done it. Thank you so much, Todd, for being here.
It, yeah.
I am Josh Robbins, and thank you so much for watching Healthline. Here at Healthy Voices 2017, we're going to have more conversations on Facebook Live.
Up top.
Yes, in the different communities. And now we're going to go to lunch.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy your
We're
lunch
hungry.
too. Goodbye.